want that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide your decisions, right? But she's saying, as she's saying, we end up having to make decisions. So how do you do that? Very good question. What I have learned is that there's two ways to make a decision. You can either make a decision by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you can make a decision by your own nafs. So I am either using my nafs to make the decision, or I am making it by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any decision that you make by the nafs will always be the wrong decision, no matter what ends up happening. And no matter what it is, you'll always look back and say, well, what if I had done this? And it's like it's something that will always bother you. You don't feel at peace with it. Any decision that is made in the right way. So let me emphasize this. It's not really which decision you make. It's how you make the decision. It's the way you make the decision. So if you make it in the right way, meaning that you're seeking Allah in making the decision, no matter what happens as a result of the decision, it will be good for you. And you will be at peace with it. Because you will say, you did it in the right way. This is the concept of istikhara, by the way. Is that when you have a decision, you give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You pray istikhara. Istikhara, the two nafil with the intention of istikhara. You read the dua of istikhara. In this dua, you're asking Allah, if this is good for me, then make it easy, put barakah in it. And if it is not good for me, and it's, fi dini wa dunya, in this life, basically in your deen and in your dunya. If it is not good for me, فَاصْرِفْهُ عَنِّي وَاصْرِفْنِي عَنْهُ وَاقْدُرْ لِلْخَيْرِ حَيْثُ كَانَ ثُمَّ ارْضِنِي بِهِ. If it's not good for me, take it away from me and take me away from it, and bring me what's good and make me pleased with it. It's this perfect dua. So you're asking Allah to move you. When you really do that with an open heart, realizing that only Allah knows best. Our problem is we get attached to things. We get attached to a particular thing. I want this thing. No. I don't want what's best. I want this thing. And we forget that we don't know what's best and Allah knows what's best. But we still get attached. So we have to really be careful to know that only Allah knows what's best. And to try to detach from these particular things which we cling to. You want to marry a particular person? No, I want that person. It's not about what's khair, it's I want that person. Right? When Allah knows best. Really, Allah knows best. I don't know best. My nafs doesn't know anything. My nafs just gets attached to things. I'm just a blind person. I don't know anything. But we just blindly get attached to things. Giving it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then acting, but again, asking Allah to move you. So when you act, first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts things in your heart. That's one thing. That you have sometimes an inclination, okay, I feel rest with this thing. And not because you have an attachment to it, because you've asked Allah to guide you. Another thing that happens is that certain situations start to open up and certain situations start to close. You tried everything in your power to marry this person, and no matter what you tried, it just failed. You asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if this is good for me, make it happen. Make it easy. If it's not good for me, take it away. You have to be willing to let go. And you have to be willing to realize that عَسَى أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. It may be that you hate something, but it is good for you. And it may be وَعَسَى أَن تُحِبُّونَ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. It may be that you love something and it's bad for you. We have to be willing to realize that. After you do that, whatever happens in your decision, you don't regret it, because you know that you made it in the right way. You made it with Allah. You didn't make it by yourself. So then whatever happens in the end will be good for you. By the way, even if it seems like it's not. So sometimes people are like, well, I prayed istikhara, but I still got divorced. Well, then inshallah that divorce was also good for you. You see, people people see a very narrow definition of what is good and what is bad. I will give you, just this very simple and broad, accurate definition of good and bad. Anything that brings you closer to Allah, no matter what it is, even if it's the loss, even if it's anything, it's good for you. And anything that brings you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter what it is, even if it's all the money in the world, all the power and status in the world, all the fame in the world, if it brings you away from Allah, it's actually bad for you. We have to realize we have to readjust our criteria of what is good and what is bad.